Now, the Prime Minister today concluded his visit to Japan for the Quad Summit. It made headlines for various reasons, from deaf diplomacy to defining images. The most one, of course, was this picture of the Prime Minister with other heads of state from Quad countries. This was hailed by the BJP as symbolic of India standing in the world today, a Vishwa Guru and a first among equals. But the endorsement for India came also from US President Joe Biden and other heads of Quad nations. According to sources, during a closed-door session, Biden praised the Prime Minister for successful handling of the COVID pandemic. In fact, he drew a parallel between how China had functioned and how India had functioned during COVID, underlining that democracies like India work. That is their biggest strength, and autocracies ultimately fail. It's interesting that even as a democratic India was being hailed in Tokyo, on the other side of the world in Cambridge, Rahul Gandhi drew up a very dismal picture of how democracy is faring back home, pretty much saying that the idea of India is in trouble and democracy, yes, it's dead.
You quoted Article 1 of the Constitution saying India, that is Bharat, is a union of states, as per the Constitution. But if you turn a page back and look at the preamble, it does mention that India is a nation. Bharat itself is one of the oldest surviving civilizations of the world. And the term finds its origin in the Vedas. So we have a really old civilization. So Chanakya, even Chanakya, when he interacted with his students in Takshashila, he made it clear to them that they might belong to different Mahajanpads, but ultimately they belong to a nation that is Bharat. Adi Shankaracharya, he said, 10 seconds.
1 second. Did he use the word nation?
He said, you belong to a Rashtra. Rashtra is, the Sanskrit.
Rashtra is kingdom.
Rashtra, no, it's a Sanskrit name for a nation. So
nation is the word nation, right, is a Western concept.
So I'm...
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Okay, Dr. Sumanth C Raman, political analyst, joins us along with Kuntal Krishna, also political analyst. Mr. Chaudhary continues with us, as does Guru Prakash, to who I want to ask the first question. Many would argue that perhaps Joe Biden has a more rosy idea of Indian democracy, unlike Mr. Gandhi, because he doesn't stay in India, Guru Prakash. Mr. Gandhi sees firsthand what a dark hellhole it is.
No, Padmaja, we must have a very strong perspective on this. Whenever a Congress leader is on a foreign soil, and this has happened before, this is not happening for the first time, whether it's Mr. Manishankar Iyer, Shashi Tharoor, Salman Khurshid, they have gone to the foreign soil and have questioned the credibility of our democracy. They have questioned the credibility of our elections. So this is not anything new. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has zero understanding of India. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has zero understanding of democracy. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has zero understanding of our culture, civilization and history. And that's the reason the people of Amethi have shown him the real result. What has happened today in the hall of Cambridge is nothing but deplorable. One gentleman from the audience has shown him the mirror, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi should apologize to the entire nation for that disservice which he has done.
Okay, Dr. Sumanth C Raman, apology?
That photograph that you are putting out from Quad of people being led down, they're all being led down. So that's a little, strange that you would use that photograph to show, some particular positive feature. But jokes apart, the point is Rahul Gandhi has made several strong points. He's talking about the issues that democracy faces in India, and he is talking about issues of federalism and cooperative federalism, which is what binds the states and the center. So I think that he's making many valid points.
Sir, because, so let me actually quote to you what Mr. Gandhi said. Mr. Gandhi said that Mr. Modi runs a country which excludes several people, and it's not something that I accept. He also said that the very idea of India is under a cloud. Now, either people like Mr. Biden have a very different idea of what a country should be like, or they are looking at two very different Indias. Dr. Raman.
No, I think, first of all, somebody should sent a WHO report to President Biden. Perhaps he's not aware of the WHO report on the 47 lakh COVID deaths in India that the report actually spoke about. So maybe he's unaware of it. It is quite possible
Or
that
maybe,
he may have forgotten.
maybe the WHO, through its faulty modelling, which has been called out by the health minister yesterday, has got it completely wrong.
No other country.
Sir, you do know that all the health ministers of our country, including those from Congress-run states, have deplored the WHO report and called it a wrong modelling. Because essentially what the WHO report says, that it's not just the BJP government at the centre, but all the state governments who have also underreported and misreported COVID deaths, including Congress-ruled states.
Including Congress-ruled states, including communist states, including AAP-ruled states, there has been underreporting.
So basically you are saying health ministers of our entire country are idiots. Our union health minister is an idiot. Joe Biden is an idiot. But it's only Mr. Gandhi and the WHO who knows what actually happened inside our country.
WHO has put out numbers of estimated deaths for 100+ countries around the world.
Sir, today literally you had the President of the United States say that if there is one country that shows how a pandemic should be democratically handled, it is India. He held up India's handling of the pandemic as an example to the world.
That is why I said probably he is unaware of this report. Maybe he is not ready.
Guru Prakash,
Padmaja,
maybe he is unaware.
No.
Maybe he is unaware. Go on.
This is something.
Maybe you should tweak the report at him, Dr. Raman.
Yeah, sir. No. So Joseph Biden, the president, is unaware. Who is aware, sir? WHO. The question has been raised on the role of WHO in the entire pandemic. And the gentleman was also talking about cooperative federalism. What is the definition of cooperative federalism? Dismissing state government left, right and center. Dismissing the chief minister of a state just because he did not come at the airport to receive you. I can give you 1,000 such examples when you have curbed the state autonomy in the name of federalism. So please stop lecturing us in the name of federalism about exclusion of people. For the first time, we are seeing such a strong prime minister from an OBC community. This has not happened in your party. This has not happened in your government. Point by point, I can give you rebuttal and you will not stand not any ground. This is something which is very impractical. What is Mr. Rahul Gandhi doing on a foreign soil? And you are questioning on, and you are basing a report on the basis of WHO? What sort of argument is this? This is simply very foolish when you are suggesting scientifically on the basis of data it has been proven. Our people, our doctors, our health ministers have shown that. So Joe Biden is wrong. Joe Biden is mistaken. The President of United States of America is mistaken. But Mr. Rahul Gandhi is right. How, from where do you get all this moral
And speaking of mistaken, just FYI, because now we are saying that Mr. Gandhi has a better understanding of what's actually going on in India as opposed to all of Indian ministers and the government of India and perhaps even the US President. Incidentally, Kuntal Krishna, today Mr. Gandhi, and could be a perfectly honest mistake, he said that Rashtra means kingdom.
Padmaja.
Yes, Mr. Krishna.
Hello. Yeah, Padmaja, let me tell you, while we were discussing these things, my friend from BJP and who gets his dictates from RSS, he was very, very clear in his words, and he spelled himself that how RSS and BJP is excluding many people in this country. He used the term, a prime minister from OBC community. So from here itself starts the exclusion. Again, in India, right now, we are almost going at the verge of almost dictatorship. Our constitution is in trouble. And Mr. Guru, I was not disturbing you, na? Please have some patience. Please have some patience. You have got a lot of questions to answer. When Mr. Guru Prakash was talking about an elected member of parliament, and he said that he does not know anything about country. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is an elected member of parliament. So this is how this country is being run, and this is all because of dictate of RSS. What we saw today, and I must tell you, Rahul Gandhi has got courage to speak out the truth, and whole of the machinery is hell-bent upon defaming and maligning images of those people who are standing in the way of this whole turning out of democracy into a dictatorship.
Mr. Krishna,
so this government,
nobody is at all saying that Mr. Gandhi is uninformed, but maybe the information did not reach him when he reacted to the WHO COVID deaths report, and I said, figures do not lie. The Narendra Modi government does.
I'm sorry.
No, he said, just a second, he says, science does not lie, Prime Minister Narendra Modi does. But when he made this comment, perhaps he did not know that the health ministers of states where his party is in government, including Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, has also called the WHO report absolute bunkum. But he thought it the gospel, but nobody is at all saying that he is ill-informed. Let Guru Prakash respond to that point you raised about being exclusionist. Guru Prakash, yes.
No, Padmaja, on your show itself, my learned friend Guru Prakash said this.
Okay, I'm taking his answer on that. Why are you exclusionary when you are talking about an OBC Prime Minister? Yes, go on, Guru Prakash.
No. See, my friend Kuntal Krishna is much more informed than Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Let me put this on record on your show tonight. I want Mr. Kuntal Krishna to go and represent India at any conference in London or anywhere in the world. He would be much better than Mr. Rahul Gandhi. The concept Rashtra, it is mentioned in Vedas, it is mentioned in Upanishads, but he is not aware of it. He is saying anything that comes to his mind. This morning, I woke up at night, Alu Dalo Sona Niklega, the nation has seen how he has evolved since 2004. So we completely sympathize with you that you have got a leader who is so, I have no words for him, but we understand that you have a very difficult job of defending Mr. Rahul Gandhi. People of Amethi have shown him the door. We have seen what is happening. But the problem starts when you go on a foreign soil, when you go to a prestigious university and fall in this trap of breaking India forces.
Yes, Mr. Krishna.
You are falling in this trap of breaking India forces. You are making this anti-India alliance.
Okay, jokes aside, this is a serious charge that you use a platform abroad to malign the country. Kuntal Krishna.
Padmaja, it is a very, very clear-cut propaganda strategy dictated by RSS to discredit and malign any public image of anyone who is a potential threat to this dictatorship.
But it's not like the RSS wrote Mr. Gandhi's speech, sir.
Guru Prakash is saying tomorrow.
It's not like Guru Prakash was whispering in his ears कि राष्ट्र का मतलब kingdom होता है.
Padmaja, and for God's sake, please, for God's sake, when Mr. Gandhi is talking about political system, he is only talking about political system. He has got all the respect for his country. Please, why only Mr. Gandhi? Why whole of the establishment is behind him? He goes to some place,
nobody is behind him.
That he is hobnobbing with some Chinese premier. He goes to some.
This is a speech that he made on his own,
by
sir.
RSS to deviate this country for.
Okay, my simple question to you is that there has to be. Okay, Kuntal Krishna, let's get serious for a second. There has to be some reason that people across the world, and these are heads of state, Australia, Japan, United States, all sit today and say during the pandemic, India did a bang-up job. You gave vaccines to other countries, you managed to handle the pandemic, democracy is functioning robustly in India. This is an example of how a democracy should be as opposed to a Russia or a China. And then you have our leader of opposition or our former prominent leader of opposition saying, sorry, none of you know anything, India is going down the pipe. There has to be a reason, right? Entire world on one side and one party on one side. Qamar Zaman Chaudhary.
Well, Padmaja, if you forget to, as we all know, public memory is very short. Have you forgotten the thousands of people dying because of lack of oxygen during the COVID times? Have you forgotten the photos? Even if Danish Qureshi would not have published those photos, we would not have known that how many bodies were floating in the Ganga. And you speak of a megalomaniac who seems to be handling the COVID crisis in such a wonderful way. I am very surprised at your journalism.
I don't
Padmaja.
speak.
I'm
It is
really
literally
ashamed of
Japan,
it. You have
Australia,
to speak truth
and
to
America
power.
who said it.
Your
I didn't say it.
duty is to speak truth to power. No, you do not believe the WHO, a Union of Nations.
WHO.
You do not believe in the Vandam report. When you do not believe in those reports which says that India has gone down on the global hunger index. You do not believe in those reports which says that
I will not contradict you, sir. Otherwise, I will be accused of not speaking truth to power.
After the
All right.
demonetization.
Final comment, Guru Prakash. In the end, it always can be argued that as a leader of opposition, he is going out there, he has a point of view. The whole world may be on one side, but that is what the opposition does. Speak truth to power.
He has a point of view. He is entitled to his point of view. He has right to be having some perspective. But Kamar Jawan Chaudhary ji, I hope you have taken the 2 doses of vaccine, and I probably you have taken the 3rd booster dose as well. Sir, it was possible only in a country where Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister. Your leaders constantly raising question mark on the vaccine. It was only because of the robust vaccination program that India was worst hit in the 3rd wave and the 4th wave. So let me make this sufficiently clear. Be it Mr. Joe Biden, be it the people of India are solidly standing behind the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, because they have seen that only because of the vaccination, only because of the safety, only because of the security, we were not able to secure lives of people in India, but also beyond India. अगर लोगों को दवाई की जरूरत पड़ी, then people were there as well.
Okay.
If you cannot do it, if you cannot listen to it, I know that you have faith in Sharia. आपको शरिया में आपको मानते हो, लेकिन आपको वैक्सीन का डोज पड़ा है तो भाजपा के कारण पड़ा है, नरेंद्र मोदी के कारण पड़ा है, स्वीकार करो इस बात को.
Okay, let's just leave it at that. Even if we don't have to believe either person, both the President of the United States and the former President of the Congress Party have a point of view. The good thing though is, so does each and every voter and citizen of India. Nobody is being fooled. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining me.